Barcelona need to make some moves, but not in terms of bringing players in. They need to actually balance the books somewhat. And rather disturbingly for them, this information is out in the public domain. They have to raise, supposedly, 124 million euros to be precise, before the end of the next, financial year for them is the end of June. Either by January sales or early summer moves. This is a very interesting one because apparently the board can actually be removed by the members if they don't manage to achieve these sales. So it weakens their hands significantly, doesn't it?
Of course it does, because we have access to this information. So does everybody else. Everybody else out there who Barcelona will be dealing with will also have access to this information. So it's like playing cards and showing your hands. It's like, hey, well, do I fold? Do I go all in? I don't know. Everybody knows what you're going to do. The problem for Barcelona is that once everybody knows, everybody's going to come in and say, well, are you willing to dance with me? Is it a discount that we're going to get? What kind of discount are we talking about? And so then Barcelona's going to have to make decisions as to where can they maximize whatever amount of money they can in order to raise this money. And so then it begs the question, well, what are the pieces that we can get rid of and will get the most money, even if it is at a discounted price? That's a big decision for them to make.
Okay, well, let's take a look at some of the options that they may have and prospective values. Obviously, values are whatever, as you say, a buying club is prepared to pay. And maybe now they don't want to pay as much because they know exactly the hole in the finances that Barcelona have. They've talked about Coutinho. He's got an option of 120 million euros to go to Bayern Munich. But as you can see, he's not really valued at that at the moment in the marketplace. And why would they spend 120 million on him when they could perhaps negotiate it down?
Well, if you're Bayern, you'd be crazy to play $120 million or euros or whatever the 120 million is, you'd be crazy to pay it.
Matchsticks.
Well, again, any team coming to the table is coming in with an advantage. And so, well, Coutinho, he's not coming back to Barcelona. So he's going to be sold, even if it is at a discount. The player that I think is critical here, and Barcelona is going to have to make a real assessment, an objective assessment as to what he can or cannot be for Barcelona, is Ousmane Dembele. Because he is the one that perhaps holds the biggest value outside of Coutinho, potentially, in terms of getting that money that you were just talking about. And so you have to make a decision as to, is Dembele a real player for us? The talent is there. But is this a guy that between the ears you can trust him? In his heart you can trust him? That you can feel this guy can be productive for you for 10 years, or is he going to be a pain in the backside for 10 years? And if that's the case, then if you need to raise this money, if you need to make that number, then he would be the guy that probably could get you the most money out there. And so you look at Dembele, that's priority number one. What do you do with him? Coutinho, I don't think he's coming back from Barcelona because he's going to have a heck of a time in Bayern Munich, and he is going to make sure that he doesn't come back to a place in which he simply failed. And then you have a guy like Rakitic, who can probably get you some money out there and has hinted at the fact that, I think my time here is done. What about Sergio Busquets? A legend of the club, and yet you brought a guy in Frenkie de Jong who is doing that job now in place of Sergio Busquets. Is that a guy that you're willing to part ways with? Big decisions for Barcelona, even bigger when you consider that everybody else knows that they have to make these decisions.
Would you rather, if you're sort of part of that club, would you rather do a sort of clean sweep approach come either January or the summer when you've made these decisions on certain players, or would you rather sort of phase it out according to what the manager's telling you and what he needs? I mean, it's almost as if you're battling quality over quantity, over age as well, that has to come into it, and contracts terms in terms of having to renew or let players go who are at the end of their deals.
I don't think Barcelona can just go ahead and say, hey, everybody get out the door, go on, because you're competing on so many different things and you're expected to win these different things that you're competing in. And so therefore, there's that expectation that you're going to win La Liga, you're going to win Champions League, you're going to win Copa del Rey. Those are the things that are expected of you as a club. Every competition that you're in, you're supposed to win. And you can't do that if you got people walking out the door simply because you have to make up a number. And so at that point is when Barcelona has to make a choice, and they have to say, okay, well, we can maybe get some money for this guy, some money for that guy, and ease our way through this rather than just make sweeping changes. You make sweeping changes, those things take time, and I just don't think Barcelona has the time to do that.
Okay, so lots of work for Josep Bartomeu to contend with, and we'll see if this new financial information being disclosed is going to have his hands tied further behind his back. Of course, there's still a certain Neymar out there in the transfer market that they would want to raise funds for. It's going to be a very interesting season for Valverde and for Barcelona, and a lot of those players who are maybe looking to edge closer to an exit.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.